Hi, and welcome to the program. In our first video, I want to help you understand a little bit more about perimenopause. Now, maybe some of this will be things you already know, and maybe that some of this will be a revelation for you. But these are things that are super important to understand about our bodies as they change, and it helps you to know why we're going to address certain things throughout the program. So, a lot of times, perimenopause and menopause, those two words are used interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Menopause is the time period where your menstruation pauses for the rest of your life. It's basically 12 months after your last period marks the day that you have entered into menopause. Before that, before that, there is a time that doesn't get talked much about until recently, called perimenopause, which can be 10 to 12 years of hormone changes in a woman's body. Whoa, 10 to 12 years, yes. So, um, what are some of those changes that you might have noticed or might be affecting your life and might even be so severe that's what led you to come to this program? Let me give you a few of them. Your estrogen is going to rise and fall. Sometimes it rises two times what it was and falls to practically nothing. Your progesterone, in the meantime, by the way, your estrogen affects so many organs in your body, which is why it affects so many things. And you'll see so many symptoms from changes in estrogen, which we'll talk about in a minute. Your progesterone, which is your calming hormone, your hormone that affects your appetite, your mental health, your anxiety levels, right? That hormone, that lovely hormone, is starting to exit the scene, so to speak. It's starting to progressively lower and lower and lower until it's much lower than it ever was during your fertile years of your life. So, what might you see when those hormones change? Well, you're probably going to see a change in your cycle, unless you were on the pill for a very, very long time and you're not sure what that cycle really was supposed to look like. But you're probably going to see either your cycle lengthening, like going from 28 days to 35 days, or you're going to see your cycle shortening to like 21 days. You might have a heavier period. Your bleed might be heavier. It might be more cramps. Um, it might be uh, just a lot of PMS symptoms, right? So that's part of what might happen to your cycle. Um, you're probably going to see changes in your sleep quality. It's very common to start waking up in the middle of the night and just being totally awake. And that's super frustrating because that leads to us feeling tired a lot and it keeps our body from repairing itself. And so often our immune system suffers as well. It can also affect our mental health. So that's generally related to our progesterone and our insulin levels as well, which are affected by our estrogen. Once again, um, you might not be able to fall asleep as easily or stay asleep for as long. You might start getting night sweats, or during the day, you might have hot flashes. And maybe these hot flashes are really terrible, or maybe they're just once in a while, and you're like, what triggered this? Where did this come from? You probably would notice a change in your weight, or maybe in your muscle, right? So sometimes it's that we gain weight unexplainedly, like why am I gaining weight? I haven't changed anything. Or it's harder to lose weight than it was before. We've all heard that one. Um, but it also affects our ability to make muscle and maintain that muscle. So we might find muscle wasting as a problem where we get those, those little flabby arms happening because our muscle is harder to maintain. You might also notice mental health changes like increased anxiety, um, new or worsening depression. Um, your anxiety might be like you might get heart palpitations or panic attacks. These have a lot to do with your progesterone and also with the signals coming from your gut and your brain, which your gut changes as well during perimenopause. Um, you could have thyroid changes. which might contribute to weight issues or other things. Um, Oftentimes, estrogen influences how our insulin is absorbed and used or not. And that also can contribute to weight gain, or some of the symptoms could be you get dizzy after eating or dizzy when you don't eat, blood sugar changes, right? So that's something that happens. Your gut health might change as far as being able to go to the bathroom. Maybe all of a sudden you're constipated all the time, or you're constipated for days. Maybe you have joint pain that you never had before, and you're thinking, like, I'm healthy. Why am I all of a sudden having this joint pain? Do I have arthritis? Well, it's likely because your hormones affect the way your joints work. It will likely affect your private life with your partner. Low libido is a very common thing in perimenopause. Um, the interesting thing is that research has shown that all of these symptoms and more, which are related to hormone changes in women, is influenced by the level of inflammation in our body. So, if you have a lot of inflammation built up in your body, you're probably going to have worse symptoms and probably a lot more of these symptoms. And so that's why part of what we do in my program is we help you to lower that inflammation, right? So we know then one of the things that's new that's been on the social media and everything is that inflammation is the root of all disease. Um, our body is naturally supposed to have to make inflammation when it needs to repair itself, and that's fine, except for that what happens in our environment we live in now is that there's all these external influences that cause our body to become inflamed in various places or multiple places for extended periods of time. And so rather than helping our body to heal, it's causing disease. So not to worry though, even though all these things, some or all, or a level of one or more, may or may not be what you're already experiencing, or may be something you experience in the future. We are here to help you learn to listen to your body and then know how to respond to it, to work with hormone changes, to know how to nourish yourself from the inside, being able to be the strongest version of yourself. So, one of the things that I love to help my clients see is that it doesn't matter if you're in your 40s or 50s, you can be as strong or stronger than you were in your 30s. That is how I feel, and that is how I want my clients to feel. Knowing how to listen to your body and respond, nourishing it when it needs something, is how to be the strongest version of yourself. It's how to find peace with your body's changes. It's how to feel like you have some control back in your life, how to be able to feel like you can be the real you, the you that you might have felt was lost for a little while. You're not lost, it's still there. Your body is amazingly designed to heal, and that is what we are going to work with. So just know that the emotional roller coaster, the mental roller coaster, the physical roller coaster, the symptoms, the stress, the anxiety, the exhaustion, if you nourish yourself, it can drastically improve to where you're happy with who you are and you're able to be a strong version of yourself. So, in our next few videos, our next few weeks lessons, we're going to learn how to nourish ourselves through nutrition, how to exercise in accord with our cycle, how to take what kinds of supplements we actually need, and how to detox our life. And that includes the way we think about ourselves and our body, and the way we talk to ourselves. Includes our environment, includes our what we eat, what we clean with, what we put on our body. We're going to take steps one day at a time, steps that you can stick with, that work for you as an individual. And we're going to make those sustainable changes in a way that you can learn to nourish yourself at the core. So, welcome, and here we go.